All right, welcome. Hello, this is Andrew, and I'm actually pretty shocked by a couple things here. Let's get right to it. Enhancements are on the Master Vault for for mass mutation decks in particular, which I did not expect. For Dark Tidings 2, but I am pretty surprised that we got these. So, uh, Ghost Galaxy released an article yesterday. I'm surprised by two things. The first is that this is happening, that we're getting enhancement data. I'm so happy. I mean, it's difficult. It would be difficult to overestimate how big of a deal this is for competitive Keyforge. It's so great. So, first off, I'm surprised that we got it because we were told we wouldn't get it. And second, I'm surprised they announced yesterday and this morning it's there. You can get it. So that's excellent. That's a great way for them to do things, especially with big improvements like this. Announcing it and dropping it in rapid succession is a good strategy, which I hate saying because I would want them to be transparent that they were working on this. But still, dropping stuff like this right away after you mention it is a good way to make people very happy. So I guess I get it. Okay. But transparency is good too. I don't know. It's hard. Life is hard. So here's the article. It's on keyforging.com. Enhance your vault experience. Sorry, I have a kitten that wants to be involved. And so enhancing the master vault. And this is their first update after making Master Vault, after moving it over to their hosting. So that's kind of cool, and yeah, it's pretty great. So they're gonna be showing enhancements for everything. So when you get a card here, notice on the list it shows enhancements. And notice when you hover over the card, it shows. It does not give you the card picture with the enhancements on it. Although, if you need that for various tools, Sky Jedi has a tool that does that. And it'll be even better now that it actually has the data to go off of. You won't have to do anything manually, I suppose. But yeah, there it is. You can see the enhancements. Now, why is this a little bit confusing? Well, in the past we were kind of told not to expect this, and I think there was a little bit of maybe sleight of hand going on just in the way things were worded. This is from when they responded to concerns over alliance and things like that. They mentioned offhand about alliance matchups. We found that less than 100 alliance matchups could be identical, and this is not accounting for enhancements, data for which was not retained by FFG. So after we kind of knew that there had been some data loss or data capture or something weird had happened, and that was why we didn't have enhancements. FFG had promised to provide enhancements, and they didn't do it. But so this was kind of, for a lot of us, I think we read this and said, okay, that's the final nail in the coffin. Enhancement data just isn't available. It wasn't retained. Well, it says it wasn't retained by FFG, so maybe someone else retained it. I mean, maybe they contracted out to somebody else to do it and they retained it. I don't know. But so that's, I think this little offhand comment was a big part of why we thought it was gone. It's worth saying, I think one thing that happens here is that we have a lot of different moving parts, and I really care about this. So I try to understand this, what's going on as best I can. But I could imagine some marketing person or whatever, not necessarily maybe a CEO level person, not understanding all the finer details and not understanding how this wording would be perceived. Or it could have been on purpose to, lower our expectations so they could over deliver. I don't know. Either way, it's fine. But apparently the data was retained by somebody because they got it and it's available. And here's a deck that I don't own anymore. I sold it, but it's a pretty cool enhanced deck. Has 2 enhanced rad pennies, and this is correct. I mean, they have the correct data, and it would have been easy to get this wrong, but they got it right. So it's there as of this morning. The data is there. Now, I want to show you something kind of cool because, of course, now that the data is here, there are a bunch of interesting applications for it. The first is just if you are, at an event playing against somebody, you can verify they have the correct enhancement. So this removes the possibility of someone cheating by having a really high quality print done with enhancements in a better place than they're supposed to be, because now you can verify, nope, this is actually the correct placement. Obviously, this means if you play online and you have to do verifications of your decks, you won't have to spread out all the enhancements. It means if you are opening a deck and want to see the pit placement, you do not have to crack that plastic wrapper. You can leave the cellophane on there and only open it if you're actually going to play it physically. So that's actually really good news for people who open a lot of decks. In addition to that, theoretically, TCO, the way to play online, should be able to make it so that when you import a deck, it just puts the enhancements in the right place. Shouldn't have to ask you anymore. And tools like Decks of Keyforge should be able to properly track enhancements and should be able to actually do some analysis based on that. I mean, if you think about since Mass Mutation came out, SAS has had to take into account that there were pips, but not where they were. So, for example, if you got a rad penny with an amber pip on it, SAS could not account for that because it doesn't know if you have an amber or a damage or a capture or a draw in this case, right? I have all 4. It could be any of those. So that couldn't be accounted for, but now it will be able to be accounted for. So that's pretty cool, and SAS could actually calculate values based on that, right? Hey, this amber actually could get played multiple times in a run through the deck. So I'm sure there will be in the future some SAS update that includes that, and I know Nova's busy and is probably not going to get around to it right away, but still, I expect that somewhere in the future, and that'll be pretty awesome. So now I want to show you one other thing. This is getting a little bit into the weeds, but hopefully if you watch me, you expect to get into the weeds and are okay with this. So I'm going to show you how you can see what's going on under the hood, because I think it's kind of interesting. So if you have Chrome, and there's you can do something similar in pretty much any browser, but I'm just going to show you how to do it in Chrome. I actually have Brave, but it's basically Chrome. So you can go to the menu and go to More Tools, and then Developer Tools. I think Control-Shift-I is actually pretty constant across browsers. That's the shortcut to open this up. So this is Developer Tools, and you can click over here on the Network tab. And then what we're going to do is we're going to reload this page and have this tool capture all the network traffic, and then we can inspect it a little bit and see what's going on under the hood. So we're going to Control R, and it reloads the page, and still see the data there. But over here we see each of these represents your browser getting something over the network. So for example, it might get an icon or some other data. And what I'm going to look for here is one that says links equals cards and notes, because this one is the API call that is used by the React JavaScript front end to get all the data from the server to display. So, which by the way is not That's a very like Web 2.0 way to do data, but there it is. So if I click on that and I click on the preview tab over here on the right, this is a nice little view for exploring JSON. JSON is a way to arrange to organize information, and that is how this information is organized. How convenient. It's very common in web design. So we see there's two sets of data here. There's linked and data. And under data, first of all, we have links and we have a list of cards. This is a 36 long, notice it starts at 0, 36 long list of all the cards in the deck by ID. They have this fancy, it's called a HUUUUGE. And then down here under linked cards, we have data about those. And notice that this is less than 36. This is shorter than 36 length. And that's because some cards are repeated. But I will tell you, I will show you an interesting thing here. And I don't know, it's not going to be easy to find. But if we look under the cards here, we'll see, look for Rad Penny. I see this one has ID starting in 5529, but this one down here has ID starting with 3C77. That's kind of interesting, but notice the difference. This one says is enhanced equals false, and this one has is enhanced true. So the enhanced one is a different ID from the non-enhanced one. Now, if we look up here in cards, we would find the non-enhanced one, 3C77, once, and the enhanced one twice, 5529. So anyway, I know that's super in the weeds. If I just put you to sleep, no problem. But if you're a little bit technical, that might be kind of interesting. Now, here's another interesting thing I'll show you. Up here under bonus icons, we have 5529, but we have it twice. So there's two entries here. Entry 5 is for 5529, so that's for this Rad Penny with a capture and a draw. So bonus icons, capture, draw. And this is the new data that wasn't here before. Last night, this was not being returned. And then down down here, entry number 8, we have just amber. So that's how it's enumerating this data to in the website, and this is the data that Decks of Keyforge and other sites are going to pull. Now, the interesting thing is, I can tell you there are at least 16 different IDs for enhanced Rad Pennies. So I had a theory a long time ago that those 16 different IDs were with reference to some different combination of enhancements, right? Like perhaps if you have 3 bonus ambers and 1 draw, that's a different ID from 2 bonus ambers and a draw. Obviously, that's not the case because these two both have the same ID, but there are definitely decks out there with a Rad Penny with a 3rd, 4th, 17th ID, and I do not know what the rhyme or reason is to that. And I assume that it has something to do with some clown town on the part of whoever was generating decks, and that might factor into why Ghost Galaxy is redoing a lot of it. So that's a little clown town, but that's okay because the data's here and we can get it, and you can positively verify what enhancements are on a deck. This really is kind of a golden age for Keyforge online play and data analysis, and even for in-person play. I think it's pretty significant. I actually think, did they not? I think they No, they don't. On the new deck list, they still don't display the enhancements, but it wouldn't shock me if they start doing that in the future, because actually that would just be a strict improvement. There's no reason your opponent shouldn't have access to this data in an open Archon event. Okay, we're at 15 minutes. I think I've spent enough time on this, but I'm pretty excited. I hope that is obvious. I hope you're excited too. I would really look for a renaissance in Keyforge tooling now that this data is available. I mean, just think, even for online events, you won't get to place pips wherever you want anymore. You'll have to put them where they actually are. So I think it's good. It's good for the game. So all right, that's it. Hope you enjoyed, and hope that this gets you excited enough to get out there and forge some keys.